Wiggins, former Patriots tight end. Here I'm on Hot 96.9 in Boston. Mornings, you can hear me on Felger and Maz, 98.5 The Sports Hub, 2 to 6 in the afternoon, going on in just about 90 minutes, where we will talk plenty of Patriots on the Felger and Maz show and here on Jabroni Talk with you. Jabroni Talk, Wiggy, as we know, is presented by our friends at Original Grain, who make these incredible watches that are fancy and modern watches that were made in 2000, reclaimed wood from Fenway Park in 1946. So they made a bunch of these limited edition ones from 1946 that sold out. They gave some freebies to John Henry, to me and Wiggy, and what do you know? They sold out. So they're coming out with another limited edition Red Sox watch. Go to originalgrain.com/Red Sox and you can get on a wait list, or it's really not a wait list. It's a notification list where they'll tell you when it's coming out and details on how to get that new watch. So our friends at Original Grain continue to present Jabroni Talk with Felger and Wiggy. All right, we're on the web. If you want to talk to us, you got to download the app and hit the fan line, and then you can join us as if it were a talk radio show, except we get to see your pretty face. It's the same drill. As soon as you pop up, we'll pop you on. So hit the fan line if you want to talk to me and Wiggy on anything at all. But Wiggy, we will lead with Bill Belichick this morning, once again stonewalling the media on Malcolm Butler. Let me ask you this. Is Belichick's approach on something like this the right approach?
Yes, by far, 100%. Because we've talked about this a few years ago, Felger, and I think it was when we talked about this organization being like the Jets when you had Rex Ryan there and allowing, guys to say what they want to say, and then you see what that turns into. So I think this approach is perfect. He basically, he makes sure the players don't give the media anything. And then when he goes up there, he's not giving them anything because he doesn't want any distractions in that locker room. And by distractions, I mean guys saying stuff. And then he has to kind of put out fires in the locker room because this guy said something to this reporter or this guy said something. So I think it's the best approach possible, and more teams should be doing it. Okay.
Isn't there a middle ground, though? In other words, the way he approaches it is it's borderline demeaning. It's sort of treating the media, but really the fans, as idiots. It's the approach about Malcolm Butler. So I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about this year.
Right.
He sounds like such an asshole. Why can't he talk like a human being and say something along the lines of, Jermaine, guys, I understand why the question's being asked. That was an important game. We all feel bad about it, but it's just not fair of me to talk about it. It's not fair to Malcolm. It's not fair to the current players to go back in time. And I hope you respect the fact that I just can't do it. I'm just not going to do it. I understand the questions, but it's a complicated answer to begin with, and it's not fair to Malcolm. I mean, if he just talked like a normal person as opposed to this obstinate asshole, I think he'd do himself some favors, but hey, that's just my opinion. To me, there's a middle ground between what Rex Ryan does and what Bill Belichick does.
Well, I think Bill looks at it the way a lot of players look at it, and you said it, the media are idiots. So that's why he doesn't say what that's why he doesn't give you anything. Yeah, it's all cool for you to sit there and make it sound like, oh, why can't Bill just go, hey, guys, listen, I know you have some questions, but here's what I'm going to do. Because
what's wrong with that?
Because at the end of the day, the media is always going to spin it. They've always been doing that. And as a player and as a coach, you know what the media is, and you look at them, like you said, as idiots. They should know better, and they're going to take what he says, they're going to twist it, and they're going to do what they got to do to sell papers, get clicks, that kind of thing. So Bill does what he does. He says, you know what? I ain't going to give you any clickbait. I ain't going to give you anything to write about, and I'm not going to allow you to come in here and say, well, guess what? Hey, this is what your coach said, because not every guy is polished with the media.
Wiggy, you understand, though, but by him doing it by his approach, it's almost worse because now we're totally left to our own devices. He gives you no information on it. And so, I mean, we just totally make it up because there's no rail there, if you know what I mean. So I don't think he does himself any favor.
He does.
He's some sort of, master tactician with the media? No, he's not.
Yeah, he does, because if you want to make it,
it's not hard to do to sit there and say, I'm not here to talk about the past.
But listen,
that's not hard to do.
Listen, Felger.
You know what's hard to do? Parcells used to do it, and what it's hard to do is to, and maybe, there's some other guys who do it, like Alex Core maybe does it, where it sounds like he's giving you something, but he's really not. And those are the guys who are really masterful at it. Bill's not masterful at it.
But you got to understand, I played for Parcells, and his approach was different. But to understand what the reason why Bill does it, it's very simple. And I like the approach. I like the approach that he's taking, because at the end of the day, the problem is there are players in that locker room that don't know how to deal with the media, or would put their foot in their mouth. So what Bill ultimately does is he says, you know what, I'm going to take any type of comments or things that might be misconstrued. I'm going to take it away from the players. I'm going to put it on me. And I think, as we've seen how Bill operates. And for me, good, because as a player, I don't want to have to sit in front of my locker and answer a question that, so did you hear what this player?
Yeah, you're right, Wiggy. No one's going to ask the players about it. You're right. Bill did a great job.
Yeah, but the thing about it is the players are not.
If Bill came out and gave you an answer, Wiggy, we wouldn't ask the players.
But the players
ask the players now is because the coach didn't give anything.
But it's great for the players, because the players, what do all the players say? Hey, listen, I'm just here to talk about the game. Go talk to Bill. So he brings it right back to himself. That's what he does. And that's the smart thing to do. Bring it back to yourself.
He's not taking it back to himself. Matt in the comments has it right. He says Belichick curbed the media because he doesn't care about Patriots fans and doesn't think he owes the smallest explanation about anything, and he never will, as long as the scared beat writers line up on their knees in front of him. It's pathetic. It's a good job, Matt. It's a good comment.
Listen,
what about the fans, Wiggy, too? What about the fans? Forget us.
I'm a fan. I'm a former player. I'm in the media. Listen, he does not owe us shit, and that's the bottom line. He doesn't owe us anything. We might sit there. Was I happy with the Malcolm Butler move of him not playing? No. Did I think it affected them in the Super Bowl? Yes. But now when you ask Bill and you go to Bill and say, okay, what's going on with Butler? He made his statements months ago. Hey, listen, we did what was best for the team. Granted, if you don't like it, you know what Bill says? I don't care what you like. I'm all about doing what I feel like is best for the team.
Wiggy, does he owe the players an explanation? If you're a player in that locker room, do you want to know?
Let me tell you something right now, okay? Between you, me, and everybody who's listening, the players know what happened. Bill gave them an explanation. They know what's going on. So don't let it fool you, like where guys are like, yo, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why Malcolm's not playing. People know.
Okay. What do you think it was? Why do you think he didn't play? And if the players, how come you don't know? You got your word on that. You got your nose to the grindstone. You got your ear to the street. Why didn't he play?
I've said it before. There was something that he did during that week. Before that week, there were things that he did that Bill didn't like. He was put in Bill's doghouse, and once you're in Bill's doghouse, there's no getting out. And when Bill kind of maybe doesn't get, he's not on the same page with you as a player and says, you know what, I don't owe you anything, there is no getting out. We've seen guys get out of the doghouse a little bit, meaning get another shot. But there was something that went on that week, leading up to that week, and Bill's like, yo, you clearly ain't 100% focused and buying in. You not playing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's something like that, except what he did was really small. Yeah, he didn't get into a pushing match with the coach. He didn't, totally blow through.
We don't know what he did.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is whatever he did, if it ever came out, it would make Bill look worse because it really wasn't much. It really wasn't much leaving him, worth leaving him on that bench that entire game. Let's grab a fan line call. Andrew in Connecticut is ready on the fan line. And again, for you to talk to us by the fan line, you have to download the app. If you're watching on fancred.com or any of the online sites, you have to download the FanCred app, and then you can talk to us as Andrew is. Andrew, what do you got for us?
What's up, guys? So quick conspiracy time. Do you guys think that we're kind of dissecting everything Belichick does now, and we're more Belichick's doing now because we didn't? Because I feel like this has happened for years and years. I mean, he's been the fan almost my entire life, and he seems to just he's been doing this the whole time, and I don't think that's anything new. So what do you guys think?
That's a great point. I think he's had, and thanks for the check in there, Andrew. I think Bill has put his own little personal things ahead of football decisions for a long time. He's a human being. He takes care of the people he likes, and he buries the people that he doesn't. Malcolm Butler had been on his bad side for a long time, and so he took it out on him because it was partly personal for Bill. He's like everybody else. He's a human being. He's not a robot. This one came back to bite him. So the questions are stronger because it was a loss, not a win, of course. I think that's not saying, but I think Andrew has a point.
Right. I mean, listen, when I played for Bill, he didn't like the fact that I was a local kid and I got a lot of kind of like, quote unquote, in the media stuff. That wasn't something that he liked. And I remember there was a point where I said to the media one time that, you know what, hey, I could put up the same numbers as Tony Gonzalez and guys like that if given the opportunity. And that was in the paper, and Bill didn't like that. He didn't like the fact that, here was because he kind of felt maybe that was taken away from, the team in the sense of here's a guy from here, the media, and that wasn't something that he liked.
And so he held it against you. He held it against you.
Of course. And then, I ended up going somewhere else, but you know what? That's the nature of the beast. And, like you said, human nature. There are a lot of things that he holds against people. And that's why I said, once you're in his doghouse, no getting out.
Okay, but that's not a good thing. It's not always what's best for the team. So, he didn't for some reason, he wasn't in love with you, even though you came through like you read about in 2001. And the next thing you know, we get these parade of mediocre tight ends from Dan Graham to Ben Watson to guys that just weren't cut out for it because Bill held something against you. So Andrew's point in Connecticut is 100% right. This one just came back to bite the Patriots in a big way.
Right, and that's because they lost. Because if they would have won the Super Bowl, no one would be – and Butler didn't play, no one would have any issue. There might be a little talk about I wonder why Butler didn't play, but I'm willing to bet you that everybody would be saying, hey, good job by Bill for not playing Butler. Look what happened to him in the AFC Championship game. He didn't play that well, didn't have a great year. So at the end of the day, it's all about winning. But when you talk, when we go back to the original point of him having to owe us answers, he don't owe us nothing.
Okay. Ben in the comments says, I'm sorry, there was a previous commenter who said, Dave in the comments said, Belichick hates the media. The fans hate the media too. This is true. We are the lowest life form on planet Earth. I would go, the bottom of the barrel are lawyers, real estate agents, media. I say those are like the bottom three. So we're down there. Everybody hates us. We get that. Ben asks in the comments, is Brady in the doghouse? I don't see any indication of that. He's got the owner in his back pocket, Ben. So even if he's in Bill's doghouse, he ain't in Roberts. And that's the only one that matters. Let me ask you one more, Wiggy, before we bring in a guest on the fan line, and that is the story that came out that Belichick was texting Jimmy Garoppolo after all of his wins last year in San Francisco. How unusual is that, would you say? I mean, you played in the league for almost a decade. Is that an unusual thing for a coach to do, and how do you feel about that?
Nah, it's not unusual, especially if the coach likes the player, and still is in communication with the player and saying, hey, you know what? I'm happy for your success. I mean, who knows how, what he was saying. After Garoppolo's game?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you have good relationships. I had great relationship with some of the coaches that I would witness, and I would text them, even though they weren't coaching me or we were in different places. If you have that type, and we all know that Bill liked Garoppolo and thought that he was not only a good player, but a good kid on and off the field. So, it's just him showing love. I remember Parcells showed me love when I saw him down in Dallas.
Okay, showed you love by shaking your hand. Did he text you?
I mean, there was a little stuff there, a little talking afterwards, but it was more than that. It was more than just, hey, good job. So it happens all the time, and it's no big deal. I mean, players are not tripping about that. Good for Garoppolo. Shit, I wish Bill would have did that with me when I was playing.
I was gonna say. So you don't think? So you don't think Brady looks at that and goes, another example of how I'm just not Bill's guy. Turns out this kid is Bill's guy.
Yeah, I think Brady looks at that and says that. But at the end of the day, Brady knows, hey, listen, I'm the quarterback of the team, and this is my team. And we've seen it. And, they don't have to agree on everything. And we know they butt heads. But what are they doing on the field? And does it probably bother Brady? Yes, because like you said, they're still human beings. And, yes, it would bother people.
Okay. Fairly honest answer from you there, Wiggy. Again, it's Jabroni Talk presented by Original Grain Watches, tremendous watches. Check them out, originalgrain.com. You can also pre-order the next Red Sox watch that they're going to be coming out with here. I'll tell you more details on that in a few minutes, but let's go back to the fan line. Someone who is down there or is down there on a daily basis covering the Patriots is Mike Petraglia from CLNS Media. He's going to join us now, and I want his takeaway from this morning's press conference. I assume he was there. He's at most of them.
How you doing, Michael? How you doing, Wiggy?
We're doing good, Michael. Just your takeaway from Belichick this morning.
Yeah, just watching Bill, guys. There's only one time that I think Bill ever went into detail describing a controversy to open training camp, and that was Aaron Hernandez. And I think that was, bigger than football. Otherwise, if it's strictly football related, whether it's Spygate, whether it's Deflategate, and even Deflategate, he actually addressed it during the postseason. But today I didn't expect Bill to do anything more than he did, and that is move on to 2018. That's always been his MO. Wiggy, you mentioned it. He's not changed before. He's not going to change now. And that's always been his formula of success. What happened last year is in the past. We can't change it. All we can do now is move on. And Michael, to your point about whether or not it's a distraction to the players, Bill knows that the players are always going to say, ask Bill. And that's his way of taking the burden off the players. And I know you feel like, Michael, that the players are always going to be asked that. But I think most people down there know what the stock answer is from the players. Ask Bill, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate my point, Mike. I just don't think it's all that skillful from Bill. I think the real skillful guys are the ones that make fans and media feel like you're getting something, but you're really not. And those are the guys that really take the pressure off the players, because you go to Ben Parcells again was the master, and
right.
It's not like he gave you state secrets either, but he related to you on a personal level where you didn't have to go bother the players on it, and you felt like you were getting something from him, and so he sort of ended the stories that way. That took skill. What Bill does, he just walks out to the podium and takes a shit on the podium. That doesn't take any skill. How does that make him a genius?
Well, it doesn't make him a genius, but but Michael, that has been his successful MO for 18 years. It's not going to change now. You have to understand that, right? I mean,
I'm not expecting it to change. Fair enough. It's just,
it's not going to change. But I will, to your point, Michael, and I think it's a good one. There are players who at least make you feel like you're getting something. And I wouldn't even put Tom in that category. I would put the guys who spoke today, or two of them, in that category. Certainly Devin McCourty, Matthew Slater. Those are guys who, if you're going to get inside the brick wall down there, those are guys that I think will give you, if not details, they'll give you some type of context or perspective of what players are feeling down there. Again, they'll never, spill state secrets. They're not dumb enough to do that. And Wiggy, you know that. But I think between McCourty, certainly Matthew Slater, and a select handful of others, there are guys down there that can give you kind of a sense of what players are feeling.
Okay, Mike, we'll let you go. Wiggy, let's play a quick game. Where do you think Petraglia is? I have no idea, but I have a guess.
I'm going to say he's somewhere on Boylston Street, Back Bay area.
I said Newberry Street.
Okay.
That felt like Newberry Street to me. It's a fancy street.
Let me say this point, because you keep bringing up Parcells, right? And you said that if Parcells was a guy that knew how to do. Parcells is the same guy that in a press conference said, hey, listen, they want me to cook for the food. If they want me to cook for the food, they should at least let me shop for the groceries. So now if you're a player in the locker room, you're telling me that somebody goes in there, a media person is not going to go, hey, your head coach is saying that they won't allow him to bring players. Parcells did the same thing. When I was with Parcells with the Jets, he said, hey, listen, don't say anything stupid. I'll do all the talking. The media comes to you. Hey, listen, let the head coach deal with it. And that's the way Parcells operate. It's just a different him and Belichick kind of similar, except the personalities were different. Where Parcells was, outgoing and that kind of thing. But still, at the end of the day, they still were doing the same thing with the players.
Okay. I want to ask you about, let's do a few more quick comments here from the fans, and then I got to do 5 questions. I got one more question for you. Anthony in the comments says, we can be mad at Bill for not getting the right return for Jimmy Garoppolo. However, we need to be more mad at Kraft for forcing Bill to trade him. Bill traded the wrong guy. It should have been Brady to San Francisco. Your thoughts on that, Wiggy? They clearly did not get enough for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's sort of obvious. But What's your takeaway from how that all went down? Who do you blame?
Listen, the whole Kraft, to blame Kraft on, and Belichick traded Garoppolo because that's what Belichick wanted to do. There's no way that Kraft goes to Bill and says, hey, Bill, Tom's the guy. Get rid of Jimmy. I don't care what you do. Make sure you get rid of him. And Bill goes, okay, Robert, that's what I'm going to do. No, at the end of the day, the reason why Jimmy Garoppolo was traded is because that's what Bill wanted to do. This whole theory of Kraft making Belichick trade Garoppolo is so asinine to me. This guy has been here for almost 20 years. He's been to 8 Super Bowls. He's won 5 of them. You really believe, and Robert Kraft had said this when he was with Parcells, hey, where I messed up as an owner is I meddled and I got involved. So now you think he's going to now get involved in year number, 19, 20 to say, hey, trade Garoppolo? No, at the end of the day, they saw, Tom still got game left in him. We have to move on from Garoppolo because we're not going to be able to sign this guy next year. We can't franchise him, so we have to trade him. And yes, they probably could have got more for him, but who knows who those other teams were.
Cleveland. Cleveland was willing to give you one of their first-round picks.
Right, but like you said, Felger, if he's texting Jimmy after the game, do you think he really wants to send Jimmy Garoppolo to Cleveland?
No. That's what happened. He made it personal. Just like he buried a guy he didn't like in Butler, he took care of a guy that he liked in Garoppolo, and neither decision were in the best interest of the team, Wiggy. They neither helped the team, but they helped Bill's little personal agendas. So there we go. Another example. And do I believe Kraft got involved on the quarterback? You better believe it.
You're out of your mind.
If Belichick went to Robert Kraft and said, Robert, I got a trade worked out, sending Tom Brady to San Francisco, you think Robert would have signed off on that? Come on, Wiggy. You're smarter than that.
You think Bill would go to Kraft saying, hey, I got an offer on the table where I'm going to trade Brady? You're out of your mind.
I'm just saying, if Belichick wanted to do it, Belichick would do it. Of course Belichick would do it. He'd freaking trade his firstborn if that's what he wanted to do. If his firstborn pissed him off, he'd ship him out of there like everybody else.
Brady's the one untouchable.
Exactly. He's the one.
I'm talking about from Belichick. From Belichick. Brady is the one untouchable from Belichick. I don't care how much they butt heads. Bill is not trading Brady for nothing.
5 questions with Wiggy. This is how we close out the show. You want to ask a question? Jump on the fan line. Ask him anything about horse-sized ducks or duck-sized horses or whatever. Ask him the stupidest question. He'll have an answer for you. Question number 5. How badly did you want Tiger to win the British Open? Wiggy, did you watch it?
No, of course I didn't watch it. Let me tell you something. That's not what I do. I don't listen. Golf is not for the brothers, okay? It's not. Tiger, we'll hold on to him as long as we can, but at the end of the day, ain't nobody watching golf over here.
So golf's not a sport, right?
No, golf ain't no sport. Hell no.
Why ain't it no sport?
Because, listen, anytime a guy that is 65 years old can beat a guy that is 35 years old, that does not count as no sport. There ain't no sporting event in history where a 65-year-old man can beat a 35-year-old man.
So not even Tiger Woods, one of the most important and prominent African-American athletes of our lifetime, yes. Not even his presence in an event can sway you into believing that that's a sport.
No, and Tiger Woods is not an athlete. So let's make that clear. Tiger Woods is amazing at what he does. He has a great skill. But what I put golfers in? They're just like billiard players. You ever watch pool on ESPN, the Ocho at 3 a.m? That's what golfers are. Very skilled at what they do.
Okay, Wiggy. Again, at least halfway honest answer from you. Okay. Marcus Smart question, not necessarily on his re-signing. We talked about that last week, but he missed his introductory press conference with flu-like symptoms in which he had to be hooked up to an IV in a hospital, which got me thinking. I hear this about athletes all the time. Flu-like symptoms, dehydration, IV in the hospital. And I got to tell you something. I don't know a fucking person, civilian, who's had to go into the hospital for IVs for flu-like symptoms. I just don't. I know people who get sick and miss a couple days and then come back. Why are all these athletes always in the hospital with dehydration hooked up to an IV? And is it fishy that Marcus Smart went there on the day that he signed his contract?
Listen, You know why? They're not drinking enough water with their yak. That's all it is. Too much yak and not enough water, you're going to get dehydrated. For every glass of yak, you better have a bottle of water. That's all it comes down to.
Just translation, yak, is that just a generic drink?
That's Hennessy. Too much Hennessy and not enough water leads to dehydration, especially wherever you are. I'm not saying he might have been down in Miami, ATL, Vegas. You know, gotta get that water bottle, man. Yak in one hand, water bottle in the other.
Quick follow-up on our first question. George in the comments says Brady is 40 years old and he's beating guys in their 20s. Does that mean football's not a sport?
No. Brady's an athlete. He's not beating guys. When I say beating, I'm beating them physically. He's an athlete who's beating them from the neck up, and we all know football's played from the head up.
Question number 3. What is Jimmy Garoppolo's new porn star girlfriend, Kiara Mia? Is that how you pronounce it? Where does she rank on the chocolate and thick scale? I know that first part we're not quite there, but again, give me your assessment, please.
She's definitely thick. She's not on the chocolate scale, but she's definitely thick. I didn't know who she was, so I had to Google her. And I was like, okay, Jimmy G, I see what you're doing. But if you watch a lot of her videos, I don't know if you've seen any of her videos.
I've sampled some of her work.
Well, they're with a lot of, let me just say, Mendingo type brothers, and I don't know what Jimmy G's holding.
So you've got to have a lot of self-confidence as a male to take on Kiara Mia.
Yeah, I mean, she's hanging. She's definitely, like I said, Wesley Pipes and all them boys. You better be able to bring it. That's all I can say.
If you were to take any adult film star to dinner, what would it be? Who would it be?
You know what? There are two of them that I like. I would say Pinky and Cherokee the Ass. But if I could only take one, I'd go Cherokee the Ass. So you're gonna have to Google him.
Okay. Cherokee the Ass. I'm going to write that down.
Yes,
that's
Google.
Cherokee the Ass.
Yes.
Let's do the word on the street. Wiggy sends me a text page every week. I try and translate because I can't tell what the hell that he's talking about. And hear what it is. It's word on the street. Love when the God curbs the clowns for coming sideways. What the hell? I have no idea what that means. Love when the God curbs the clowns foe coming sideways.
Yes.
What? I couldn't even begin to tell you what that is.
Okay. I've said it. I love when Bill Belichick, the God, curbs the dumbass media for coming sideways with the stupid ass questions. Meaning, I love when he makes them look stupid.
Okay, simple enough. Last question comes from a fan. Matthew in Newton on the fan line. Again, that's where you can reach us every week on Jabroni Talk. Ask Wiggy whatever you want. He will have an answer for you, Matthew. Welcome to the program. Go ahead, Matthew.
So, Wiggy, if you were going to take this porn star on a date, where would you go?
Where would I go?
Thank you, Matthew. Good question.
I would probably take her to Strager and get some Strager meatballs. Because if you have a Strager on the waterfront seaport, that's where I take her. I mean, it's a porn star. Let's be honest.
Would you even take her to dinner?
Yeah, we get some meatballs.
All right, there you go. Again,
let me ask you a question before we leave. If you could take one porn star to dinner, who would that be?
So, if you said her name, I freaking remember it. Leanne? No. Leanne? What's her name? I thought her name was Leanne. No? Apparently she's been – so someone told me she's been a great mentor to a lot of NBA players.
Okay.
Oh, come on. What's her freaking name? Hold on. No. You're going to bug me.
I got to try to Leanne.
I'm going to Google porn star and see what pops up. Lisa Ann.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Lisa Ann.
Lisa Ann. So, I think that the category Garoppolo went to is the MILF. Yeah, MILF porn. I'm okay because that's my age group, right?
What am I doing
with it? So MILF porn. So I think Lisa Ann.
I can see what you're saying.
I've been a big fan of her work. Okay. Jabroni Talk brought to you by Original Grain Watches. You can pre-order the next Red Sox item on the website by going to originalgrain.com/Red Sox. Again, it really is a tremendous souvenir item, commemorative item. This one's made from reclaimed wood from the 1946 Red Sox season at Fenway Park. The rest of the watch is totally modern, it's totally cool, but it's original grain wood in there. And so Wiggin and I got one. We encourage you to check out the website, and we encourage you to come back next week for Jabroni Talk. See you, Wig.
Peace.